John's Promaster van is ready to hit the road for a full-time life. Out here, right off the bat, we've got our bespoke Humble Road running boards made from 80/20. We've got a patio table here. I'm going to show you this before we go inside. This, I believe, is an industry first. I have not seen this on YouTube, not even once. This patio table is 36 inches long. Pushes me right out of the shot. 36 inches of picnic patio pleasure. And of course, you have access to all the things in the back of the cupboard from the inside. And you know, I love these gooseneck reading lights because you can position them wherever you want. Now, when you close the slider, you have to remember to press that back in flat so the slider can close. And then to close this, you just close it like that. This was John's engineering. You know what he did? How clever? He embedded the magnets in the plywood under the laminate so that that will hold. He welded 2 sets of drawer glides together. That's how we pulled that off. Industry first, I think. As we go inside now, you see the beetle kill pine with a beautiful floor. Nice match up there. We did our custom running board bulkhead on the Promaster step. A little bit of storage back there along the cupboard. As we come in here, you see this cupboard, massive pantry cupboard with a custom handmade Humble Road handle. 80/20 and pine. That's an 80/20 handle. Isn't that cool? You bring that open and you've got a massive pantry, adjustable shelves. That little bump out down there, 2 sections of shelving, all adjustable. Now look at this. What's going on over here? That's a workbench. This workbench is a full 24 inches deep. That's full counter depth in a kitchen. 24 deep in a van, opposing 19 deep over here. It's unheard of. And we still have a nice, decent, wide aisle, especially with this jog. See how this 24 jogs down to the narrower section? That's because this is his bird's eye area. He needs to get in here, bring these spotlights down, and do his bird's eye work. Right here, whatever it is, fly tying maybe, all precision work right there with those lights. This is a clamping area. He's got some other machinery and equipment that he needs to clamp here and then process his meat, right? Grind that down. So this is his beefy clamping area. But we did provide 1.25 inches all the way down the line for clamping. This is hard fir, solid dug fir. So we got no problems here, right? This is nice. This is a nice van. This opens things up right here. This angle is the same and opposing as this angle here. So you've got this nice feng shui thing going on in this area. And it's got dog holes, and these dog holes are set at the specific offsets for festool, clamps, and dogs. A workbench in a van. Look at this. Cubbies along the wall. Nice lighting. This area down here is meant for bird's eye work. You can see he's got these 2 gooseneck spots. He can bring those down and do his fine work. He's going to do fly tying. He's going to do wood carving. He's going to do woodworking. He's going to do meat processing. He's going to do silk screening. He's going to do print making, all in this van. And it fits. We made sure of it. Big drawers, Webasto heater, gasoline fired here underneath. We've got our DR160 drawer, fridge, freezer. I like this 2-tone. This is a nice treatment over here as compared to the elegant all-white Galley on this side. But let me stay focused. No tangents today, George. Where was I? Down past the fridge, freezer, we've got a triple cubby compartment. Nice and deep and open. You can store a lot of clothing in there. Beetle kill face with a black laminate edge band. And we've got a twin sister over here. Look, same thing on the galley side. See that big chest? That's an Ice Co fridge freezer. That's where he's going to store his meats, and he'll pull that out in the evening to step in and out of the bed. Of course, there's our Humble Road night lights on either side. Back to this workbench side of the van. This is a man's van, boy, I'll tell you. So we've got this massive sliding door cabinet, a wall cabinet, all the way down the line. It goes right over the foot of the bed. And then you got a bunk window. You got a Caframo fan back there. Fishing pole holders. That's right, there's 6 fishing poles gonna live in here. This is the Nomadic Cooling 48 volt DC air conditioner. This is the X2. That's running quietly. This is a twin bed. It's 38 by 74. And we have a nice gooseneck reading light over a nightstand that has a cup holder, USB, and an outlet. And then we've got this long storage cubby all along the outside bulkhead of the bed. Now, why do we have this break? Look at that break in the cubby and nightstand. What's that all about? Well, this rear door, the handle, the latch for that rear door is down there. You have got to have access to that latch handle if you need to escape the back of this van, because there's something going on in the front. So we put that break in the cubby so you could reach that latch and get out. We got your back. Workbench, USB, 120 volt outlet, GFCI protected, cubby. We've got nice recessed lighting. We've got a nice level of lighting under there, another level of lighting here. This is our Ecoflow command central. Here's another one of our switch panels with touch lights, touch switches, 120 volt, recessed into the panel, USB. Now where do we go next? Look at the size of this cabinet. You could actually use this as a bunk if you wanted to have a guest over. They could sleep up there. And this is dry erase marker board, so John can make notes on what he needs to do with all his different hobbies and projects. It's reversible. This side is white, the other side is black. So coming around to the galley side, we have another bunk window at the head of the bed. At the head of the bed, we've got our security light switches. If he hears any noise out these windows, you turn on those lights outside the van. It's like the second coming. It's like a Steven Spielberg movie out there. So again, we have our little switch panels, bedroom, night light, and an extra, just in case. Webasto heater. In the morning, he wants to take the chill out. He just has to reach over, turn that dial, the Webasto heater kicks on. USB, another cubby for the olive oil and the wine. And here's another switch panel, very similar to the one on the workbench side. Water pump, all your accent lights, everything's here. USB, 120 volt, GFCI protected. Activa, filtered water, cartridge, and USB. UV, not USB, UV, get it right. Big stainless steel sink with a drain grate in the bottom. And we have a gooseneck faucet right here. 5 gallon per minute water pump in this van. This guy, like I said, full time. This is that Wilson Art Designer White. I love this countertop. It's so nice. It's just so simple, but it's got a feel to it. And then we do a little fiddle rail all around the 3 sides. And again, when we have to do these jogs, there's no room for error. Look at the tolerances. Look at where this faucet lives compared to the sink. We got 80-20 framework under there. I love that fiddle rail. Runs right along the side of the bulkhead. You know, we've got our side end caps that are wrapped in the beetle kill. Solid pine bed bulkhead. And we come back down this way. We've got drawers. Cupboard. I left the shelf out of here. There's a removable shelf that covers that water tank and access hatch. But I wanted you to see that the water tank, stainless steel custom water tank with baffles, resides on the floor of the entire galley length. Okay, I think we're close to 40 gallons of water in there. There's our sender. On the back wall, you can see we have our pump, our water pump, our strainer, all of our shutoffs. Here's our Activa. Everything accessible. You can put eyes on it. Make sure there's no leaks. Ditto this side. Another cupboard. I took the floor out so you can see the access hatch. There's that really cool picnic table in the outside. Now I saved the best for last. Wait till you see this. This starts life as a huge pantry. Look at this pantry. It's an armoire, it's a pantry, whatever you want. It's adjustable shelves, and it's massive. It's 24 inches wide, and it's 24 inches deep. And it's like 6 feet tall. But that's not the best part. Here's the best part. You lift this lever and slide this out, and look what you've got. What did I do? Look at this. That's your shower. That's your shower. Look at this. Right here. Here's your faucets. We got some nice lighting inside this shower. Now look at this shower pan. Ron was inspired. Ron did this shower pan on the CNC, designed it on his software, printed it out on the CNC. Is that fun or what? So yeah, here it is. I finally got that slide-out armoire ready for prime time. Handmade retrieval handle. Here is this is a spring-loaded latch. It rides along the rail and goes up that ramp and locks in place for travel. These are high-quality trolleys. And we also have, it's a stainless steel rod. We put bumpers and magnets on it so that when it's on this side in the open position, it's not going to slide in and hit you. These trolleys are really high quality. It took us a long while to make sure we could engineer this correctly. John did this, and we're all very proud of this engineering. This works like a charm. It's very, very nice. I mean, I could do it with one finger. I mean, it could go on its own. Look, that's it. And then it'll hit the bumpers and magnet lock in place. And there's plenty of room in there. That access into the shower is wider than most van aisles. And when this thing is closed and locked in place, it's got rubber stoppers, so it will not rock. I'm coming around the front to get you to the garage, so you can see our wind deflector right on top. We make those in-house as well. And we've got full-length running boards on this side of the van as well. Why, you ask? This gentleman is going to have a kayak up on this roof. These are the Trolley elevators, and these are here temporarily until we get our drop rack. Some of you might have seen me do a video on the drop rack, which was a really nice kayak rack that I paid for but never received. Well, through the goodness of one of my viewers who contacted the CEO and founder of Drop Rack, who then contacted me and gave me the story as to why I didn't receive that drop rack. It's coming. So we made provision for it, but in the meantime, he'll put his 10-foot kayak in the Trolley elevator. Now, what do you see? This big 6-inch by 10-foot PVC pipe. He's got 9-foot surf poles. So that's where they're gonna live until he needs them. Right now, we've got 400 watts of solar on the roof, and we have another 200 watts of solar in a suitcase that he can plug in downstairs. Depending on how that kayak lays in up here, I've got room for another 200 watts of solar if I can make it work. That PVC pipe is 10 feet. So the kayak, positioned in a similar manner, is probably going to come out to the same spot. You can see where it overlaps the solar. But I still might be able to get 2 more solar panels in here. They all should be the same. There's a Max Air fan, as I always put in my vans. Okay, now let's get back to the garage. Further down the line, you can see the bunk windows. You can see one of my spreader lights, one of my security lights there. Smart plug, 30 amp shore power. Here's my solar suitcase plug. Moving around the back, you can see the back of this rack. There's the end of that surf pole container. That's a locking aluminum cap. And I've got a 20-inch double row LED spotlight. So when he gets back from a late fishing trip with the kayak, he can light up the area and get himself all packed away. So here you can see that cutout. I want to reiterate the importance of this cutout. So if he's in bed and he's got to reach this handle to get out of this van, if for some reason, God forbid, we can't get out the front doors, he can reach down here and get out. Okay, solar suitcase. And here we have our garage lights. What we do is repurpose the spotlights that come in the van. These are the LED factory lights. Ron made a nice surround for them on the CNC printer. And we mounted those to these are my plywood troughs. I run a couple of these across the van in between my aluminum C-channel, and they are where I run my wire and pipe. That's how I crisscross the van. Very nice and tidy. That's all right under the bedboards. So we have the garage lights. We have our fresh water fill back here with a fresh water gauge. We have an outdoor shower, hot and cold. And this is the light for the LEDs up there. And as I go further in, you can see he's got his Iceco fridge freezer. And he's got a couple of bins here he's going to use for electrical and water. And in the meantime, I put some D-rings in and bungees for him to hold this stuff in place until he gets a better idea of how he wants to use this garage space. We want to leave these options up to him. We're not that presumptuous that we would tell you how to do it. Whale 6-gallon water heater. I've got this tied in with my glycol system. So we make our own hot water as we're driving, and we also use the electric element that's inside that heater. So between the two of them, you always have hot water, and in a very efficient manner. And here's a winter shelf. I call this the winter shelf because this is a place where you would store items that you don't always need to get to on a frequent basis. Things you store away, maybe for the season. Push them out of the way. Right above there is another cubby. This is for the solar suitcases. I made this big enough to handle 2 solar suitcases, 200 watts apiece. But as it turns out, this is a better spot for that solar suitcase because it will aid in holding these bins. So for now, as I said, until he gets used to his van and decides how he wants to live his life, because he will be full-time in this van, that's how we'll do it. The Ecoflow. I've been talking about this Ecoflow system. Look at how tidy this is. I left the cover off the distribution panel because I wanted you to see the inner workings of this distribution panel. I did another separate video on this, so I'll put that link in the description. I'm in love with this system. I love it. It's really, really very comprehensive. It's modular. It's easy to work with. These are my solar breakers. I've got rooftop solar breaker and I've got suitcase solar breaker. That's my shore power, another breaker coming in. And then this is the power module. I've got alternator charging. I've got 2 solar charging ports. I've got 2 battery ports. I've got an air conditioner port, AC, DC. It's a 3,500 watt inverter with a 5,200 watt surge. Right now, we're starting him off with 2 batteries, 5,000 watts a piece, 5,000 watt hours each for 10,000 total. If we need to go to 15,000 watt hours, we're going to add that extra battery right here, stacked. We will remove this, and the batteries are manufactured to stack one on top of the other. But in the meantime, we're taking advantage of these flat areas for storage, golf bags and whatnot. Why do I have these access hatches, you ask? Believe it or not, Ecoflow put the fuse for this battery right on top. They put a fuse on the top of a stackable battery array. I'd like to talk to that engineer. So what we had to do was create these small access hatches in case you need to replace that fuse. You can get right in that little lever there and replace the fuse. Isn't that funny? I think I would have put that fuse on the side of a stackable battery, right? All right. What can I tell you? Further back, I've got some L-track on the door. Electrical's on one side and water is on the other side. Look at this. He's got a braided stainless steel water with quick release. So there you go. That's John's van, the Beetle Kill Baby.